Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back in the video with this video me going over the new SILENFORCE archetype, so let's get started. So here we have a level 1 monster by the name of Novox, the SILENFORCER Disciple. If this card is normal or special summon, you can place one SILENFORCE continuous spell trap from your deck face up in your spell trap zone. Good first effect, seeing its 3 effects here, being able to get this out. Of course we have to see how powerful the spells and traps are, but if it's strong, then that's great to see. And if you would ritual summon exactly one light warrior or dragon ritual monster with a card effect that requires use of monsters, you can use this card as the entire requirement. So you can see that it's a ritual deck that's gonna let you just get that monster out by using a card like this. We've seen this with a bunch of ritual decks like Necros. And if a light warrior and or dragon ritual monster is special summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card out. You might be able to even use this as something like Blue Eyes just to be able to require the entire tribute cost by just using this monster. And of course, you'll be able to special summon this card out if a dragon ritual monster is summoned out to the board. And Saphir, the Wise Silence for a Queen, so it's a level 6 light dragon effect monster. You can discard this card, send one ritual spell from your deck to your grave, then you can add one light warrior or dragon ritual monster from your deck to your hand. So you can see that's the theme of the deck. It's going to be light warriors and dragon rituals. Of course, being able to do this in order to mail a ritual spell from your deck to your grave, I'm sure it's going to have an effect that activates when it's sent to the grave or have something there. And being able to search one of these monsters is pretty solid. You can banish this card from your graveyard, ritual summon one light warrior or dragon ritual monster from your hand by tributing monsters from your field or hand whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. So it looks like this is gonna lean away from using the ritual spells and actually use your monsters as the ritual spells, so that's going to be interesting, and it definitely cuts off a bit of the bloat if that's the case. And here we have Saravis, the Sagely SILENFORCER Dragon, so it looks like this is actually considered a dragon monster, but it just looks like some guy, some old man. But you can special summon this card from your hand by shuffling 2 spells from your hand and or graveyard into the deck, and including at least one ritual spell. Pretty easy to get out. Interesting that it requires a ritual spell in order to get it out, but it's by recycling it. And when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the hand, special summon one light or dragon ritual from your hand or deck, but shuffle it into the deck during the end phase of the next turn. So being able to do something like this in order to summon out a light or warrior dragon monster, light or warrior or dragon ritual monster from your hand or deck, it's going to be pretty solid. I mean, it looks like you do have to wait for your opponent to activate something in order to be able to do this, and you're not going to be negating it or anything. It just looks like you're switching from Saravis into another ritual monster. Now here we have the Skull Guardian, the SILENFORCER Protector. It's a level 7 light warrior ritual effect monster. The art is really cool, by the way. I do really like how it looks here. If this card is ritual summoned, you can add one SILENFORCER monster or one warrior or dragon ritual monster from your deck to your hand. So pretty easy to just search things out using this card. It gains 20/50 attack while Novice, the SILENFORCER Disciple, is on your field or in your grave, so you can get pretty beefy. When your opponent activates a card effect and you control Novice, the SILENFORCER Disciple, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So that's great because that looks like you actually have a form of a negation. As long as you're able to get Novox out here, then you're going to be able to utilize it. So Novox is great because obviously if you summon out the ritual monster, you're going to be able to special summon this card out. So you're going to have that, and then it sets you up with at least one negate. So that's cool to see, and it's just a generic negate as well. So that's pretty awesome. And then here we have SILENFORCING Prayer. This is the ritual spell. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Ritual summon one light ritual monster from your hand by tributing one light monster from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. So this looks like it's just the generic, ritual spell here. And if a face-up light ritual monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one Saravis, the Ancient and Ascended, Saphir, Queen of Dragons, or Skull Dragon, the SILENFORCING Protector from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning condition. So it looks like this is a great way if your ritual monster happens to get destroyed or whatever way it's removed, then you're actually able to switch it out for one of these monsters, which could be great because they each kind of have an effect that benefits you in summoning out the ritual monster once again. And then here we have SILENFORCING Barrier, which is the continuous spell. So while you control Novice, the SILENFORCER Disciple, or a light ritual monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target non-ritual monsters for attack. Also, your opponent cannot target light monsters you control with card effects. This is great because you're going to be able to use the level 1 Novox here in order to get this card out, and that'll give you a way to make sure that they're protected from your opponent targeting them, which is important because as we saw with the ritual monster, that's going to be your way of setting up a negate, and you don't want your opponent trying to get rid of those cards. And then during your main phase, you can add one SILENFORCE card or one Skull Guardian Ritual Monster from your deck to your hand, except for this card. It looks like this could be pretty good with the level 1. If you summon that card out, being able to set this continuous spell, activate its effects, it'll protect it. Not only that, but then you're going to be able to search out a card as well. So definitely going to be part of like a 1-card combo that you're able to do here. And then for the final card, we have Silenforcing Authority. So you can use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. During the main phase, you can activate one of these effects. You can shuffle one Light Warrior or Dragon Ritual Monster or one Ritual Spell from your hand or graveyard into the deck. And if you do, take one Silent Force monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. So that's great because you're able to, again, just recycle things and get a monster out. The thing that it's a trap means that it's going to be slow, but at least you have 2 options here. Target cards your opponent controls up to a number of Light Warrior and Dragon Ritual monsters you control. Destroy them, also destroy this card. So being able to pop some things, you know, that seems decent. Honestly, like, it's probably going to be, if you're going to run this trap, it's probably going to be more out of one of, or just have limited copies of this card just because of how slow it's going to be in comparison to the other ones. But it does give you a way of like interacting with your opponent after you establish your negate. You can establish something like your Silenforcing Authority, pop some things during your opponent's turn, and then if you need to as well, you can shuffle one Light Warrior or Dragon Ritual Monster or a Ritual Spell from your hand or graveyard into the deck, and then you can add a Silent Force monster or summon it out, which could be decent and relevant depending on like the situation you're in. Maybe you have Skull Guardian and you lost access to your Navox, then you're gonna be able to get your Navox monster back out, and that'll enable your negate to be useful again. But honestly, it could be pretty interesting to see how people are able to utilize the trap. But let me know what you guys think about the new archetype. I think it seems like a pretty fun, balanced archetype that's going to be fun to mess around with. Let me know what you guys think, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.